Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into a really interesting puzzle. Why is it that giving potential donors more options, more choices of where to donate, might actually lead to fewer donations overall?
Yeah, it feels wrong, doesn't it?
It does. Like, you'd think more good choices should mean more good things happening.
Mm.
But some research suggests that when it comes to giving, maybe that intuition is a bit misleading.
It really does seem counterintuitive. We usually assume, that more choice is empowering, that it boosts engagement.
Right.
But in this specific area, deciding where to send charitable help, the psychology gets, well, pretty nuanced.
Okay.
So we'll be exploring this fascinating 2021 study. It was published in the Journal of Consumer Psychology.
Huh?
Part of their special issue, Consumer Psychology for the Greater Good. The study itself is called The Adverse Effect of Choice in Donation Decisions.
And who are the researchers behind this?
It's from Danit Ein-Gar at Tel Aviv University, Las Levantin from the Technion, that's the Israel Institute of Technology, and Tehila Kogut from Ben Gurion University of the Negev.
Got it. So these researchers looked into this idea, more choice, maybe not better for donations. What was the main thing they found?
The main takeaway, and it came up again and again across their studies, is that when people are asked to choose between, say, multiple similar recipients for a donation, they're actually significantly more likely to just opt out, to not donate at all.
Really, more likely than if they were just asked to donate to one person.
Exactly, compared to when they're just presented with a single recipient to support.
Wow, that's surprising. I mean, you'd think seeing more worthy causes would connect with more people, maybe lead to more generosity.
You would think so.
So what's the reason? Why the hesitation when there are more options?
Well, the researchers pinpointed this fundamental conflict that pops up.
Okay.
There's this kind of push and pull. On one hand, we have this natural desire to help people in need. But on the other hand, we also have this really strong desire to be fair, to be impartial, especially when we're looking at multiple options that all seem equally deserving.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's like if I pick one to help, am I saying the others aren't as worthy?
Yeah.
That kind of feeling?
Precisely that feeling. It creates a sort of decision paralysis.
Okay, so where did Ein-Gar, Levantin, and Kogut start to build their case for this? How did they first test it?
They kick things off with a study looking specifically at money donations, just trying to see if offering a choice between two recipients would actually result in lower donation rates.
And how did they set that experiment up?
Okay, so they got 306 participants recruited through Amazon Mechanical Turk, that online platform.
Yeah, MTurk.
Right. And they randomly split them into two groups. One group was the choice group.
Okay.
They saw photos and short bios for two little girls, Caroline and Frida. They could choose to donate part of their bonus payment to either Caroline or Frida, or choose not to donate.
Got it. Donate to A, B, or neither.
Exactly. The second group was the no-choice group. They saw the same info about Caroline and Frida, but they were just asked if they wanted to donate to one of the girls who was randomly picked for them by the system, and they could also opt out, of course.
Okay, interesting comparison. So did giving people the choice actually make them more likely to give?
Nope, the opposite happened.
Really?
Yeah, the number of people choosing not to donate, the opt-out rate, was way higher in the choice group. It had 49%.
49? Wow. Compared to what in the no-choice group?
Only 26% in the no-choice group.
That's a huge difference, almost double.
It is. Now, interestingly, for the people who did decide to donate, the average amount they gave wasn't that different between the two groups.
Okay.
But, and this is key, when you look at the overall amount donated across everyone in the study, including those who opted out,
Right, the total pot.
the average donation per person was significantly lower when they had to make that choice.
Wow. So just offering that choice led to fewer people donating overall and less money raised in total. Okay. So what did they do next to figure out why?
Well, the second study moved away from money for a bit. They looked at donating time.
Okay, like volunteering.
Exactly, volunteering time to help elderly men. And this time, they directly tried to measure the role of that fairness feeling.
Getting at the mechanism. How did that one work?
So they had 195 participants from Prolific, another online platform, again, split into conditions, a choice condition, volunteer time for either David or Morris based on photos and bios, or opt out.
Right.
Then they had a single condition. Here, participants just saw one of the men, David or Morris, randomly assign, and they were asked if they'd volunteer for him or opt out.
Okay. Similar structure, but with time. And the fairness part.
Crucially, after they made their decision, volunteer or not, Participants had to indicate which feeling was more dominant for them. The wish to be fair and impartial, or the wish to help others.
Directly asking about that internal tug-of-war. So what happened? Did fairness pop up more when there was a choice?
It absolutely did. First, the opt-out rate was higher again in the choice condition, 48.5% compared to 35.4% in the single condition.
Consistent.
Very consistent. And more importantly, people in the choice group were much more likely to say that the wish to be fair was the stronger influence on their decision.
Interesting.
And the researchers actually showed that this weighing of fairness versus helpfulness statistically explained why more people opted out when given the choice. It mediated the effect, as they say.
So that feeling of needing to be fair, that's the pathway through which having options leads to, well, inaction.
That's exactly what it suggests. The need to choose seems to activate those fairness concerns.
Okay, so study 3 then went back to the money scenario with Caroline and Frida.
Yes. Study 3 brought back the girls and the monetary donations, but this time they compared 3 conditions.
The 3.
Yeah, the standard choice between the two girls. A no-choice condition, like in Study 1, where they were asked to donate to one, randomly assigned, and a single condition where they only saw an appeal for one girl.
Gotcha. Choice, no choice, and single appeal. And they asked about fairness versus helpfulness again?
They did. Which consideration was dominant?
And I'm guessing the results lined up.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
The highest opt-out rate by far was in the choice condition, 52.4%.
Over half the people opted out when choosing.
Wow. And that was significantly higher than both the no-choice group, which was down at 23.6%,
Okay.
and the single appeal group, which was 31.6%.
Interesting that the single appeal was slightly higher than the no choice.
It was, although the main difference was clearly driven by the choice condition. And again, consistent with Study 2, way more people in the choice group said fairness was the dominant factor.
So it really hammered home that the act of choosing itself, even if you know there are other needs out there, that's what ramps up the fairness issue and makes people step back.
Exactly. It's the comparison forced by the choice.
It seems like this conflict, wanting to help versus wanting to be fair, is really the heart of it. Did they try to measure those two feelings separately, not just which one was stronger?
They did. That was Study 4, back to the time donation with David and Morris.
Okay.
This time, instead of asking which motivation was dominant, they had participants rate on separate scales how much fairness influenced them and how much helpfulness influenced them, like on a 1 to 7 scale for each.
Okay. So you could see the independent strength of each feeling.
Precisely. And the results, well, first, the choice condition, again, had the highest opt-out rate.
No surprise there.
Right. Around 30% opted out in choice, compared to about 24% in no choice, and only about 16% in the single condition.
Okay.
And when they looked at the ratings, feelings of fairness were rated highest in the choice condition. But feelings of helpfulness were actually rated lower in the choice condition compared to the single condition.
Oh, that's interesting. So making the choice not only raises fairness concerns, but might actually dampen the feeling of wanting to help.
It suggests that, yeah, it highlights that perceived conflict. When you have to choose, fairness goes up, helpfulness seems to take a bit of a hit, and the overall willingness to act decreases.
This is all pointing very consistently in one direction. Didn't they also do a study where they asked people to think about why a friend might not donate?
They did. That was Study 5, a slightly different angle. They asked participants to imagine a friend with $1 to donate, facing one of those same scenarios.
Yeah.
Choice, no choice, or single recipient with Caroline or Frida.
Okay.
Then they told the participant, okay, imagine your friend decided not to donate. And the participant had to explain why they thought their friend might have opted out.
So kind of projecting their own logic onto this hypothetical friend.
Pretty much. A way to get at underlying reasoning without asking directly about the participant's own choice. And guess what?
Let me guess. Fairness came up more in the choice condition.
You got it.
Yeah.
Participants whose hypothetical friend was in the choice scenario were significantly more likely to spontaneously mention fairness as a reason for not donating. They also explicitly rated fairness as having a greater influence on their friend's decision in that choice condition.
That's pretty convincing. It suggests this fairness dilemma is so strong, it's what we assume motivates others too when faced with that kind of choice.
Exactly. It seems quite ingrained.
Okay, so if this fairness conflict really is the key driver, the researchers must have tried to fix it, right? Like see if addressing the fairness concern could change the outcome.
That was the final crucial step. Study 6 aimed to test the causal link directly by manipulating how fair the choice felt.
Okay, how do they manage that?
They set up 3 different choice conditions this time, all involving choosing between the 2 girls, Caroline and Frida.
Right.
Condition 1 was the focal choice, just the standard setup. Choose A, B, or opt out.
Okay, the baseline.
Condition 2 was an enhanced unfairness choice.
Hmm.
Here, if you chose to donate to one girl, say Caroline, then only Caroline would get a matching donation from the researchers. The other girl got nothing extra.
Ooh, okay. So choosing actively disadvantages the other one, in a way.
It highlights the potential unfairness, exactly. Then, condition 3 was the enhanced fairness choice.
And how did that work?
In this one, if you chose to donate to, say, Caroline, then the other girl, Frida, would also automatically receive a matching donation from the researchers.
Ah, so even though you pick one for your donation, both end up benefiting equally from the matching funds. That directly tackles the fairness issue.
Precisely. It makes the choice feel less like picking a winner and a loser.
So what happened to the donation rates? Did enhancing fairness help?
Big time. The results were really striking. In that enhanced fairness condition, the opt-out rate dropped dramatically down to just 22.7%.
Wow, compared to what in the other choice groups?
Much lower. The standard focal choice had an opt-out rate of 34.2%, and the enhanced unfairness condition was right there too at 35.5%.
So making the choice feel fair, almost half the number of people opting out compared to the standard choice scenario.
Essentially, yes. It strongly supports their whole argument.
That really nails it down. By directly lessening that fairness conflict, they reduced the choice aversion effect.
Absolutely. This last study provides really compelling evidence that it's this specific conflict, the desire to help clashing with the desire to be fair, that's driving this effect in donation contexts. It's not just that choosing is hard.
It's the ethical weight of the choice.
Exactly.
So if we pull all these studies together, what are the big takeaways? What does this research really tell us?
Well, first, Ein-Gar, Levantin, and Kogut clearly show that choice aversion, something we knew about for, like, choosing jam flavors.
Right.
It also applies quite strongly to donation decisions, but maybe more importantly, they pinpoint why in this context. It's this unique tension in charitable giving between wanting to help and needing to feel fair when you see multiple worthy options.
And it's that fairness piece that's different from just being overwhelmed by too many consumer choices.
Right. It adds an ethical dimension, not just cognitive load.
And that has some pretty significant implications for charities and how they ask for money, right?
Oh, absolutely. It suggests that a really common fundraising tactic, offering donors a list of similar projects or people to support, might actually be counterproductive.
Because it triggers this fairness conflict.
Yeah.
And potentially reduces the total number of donations.
Exactly. It might unintentionally be putting up a psychological barrier for some potential donors.
So, based on this research, what could organizations actually do differently? What are the practical strategies?
The research points to a couple of main ideas. One is maybe presenting appeals for individual recipients more separately.
So avoid the direct head-to-head comparison.
Yeah, reduce that immediate need to weigh one against the other. Another approach is to tackle the fairness concern head-on.
Like in Study 6?
Exactly. Implement things like donation matching programs where the benefits are spread across all the identified needs, even if the donor picks one specific target for their initial gift. Make it clear that supporting one doesn't mean neglecting the others entirely.
That's really practical advice. It definitely makes you reconsider the best ways to encourage people to give. Okay, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's a final thought for our listeners to chew on?
Well, maybe think about how this choice paradox, this fairness dilemma, might play out in other parts of life where you're trying to do good. Does it affect how you decide where to volunteer if multiple places need help? Or even just everyday choices about how you spend limited resources, time, money, energy when there are lots of good options? Have you ever felt kind of stuck, maybe delayed doing anything because you couldn't figure out the fairest way to choose between good options, even though any choice would have been helpful?
That's a really powerful question to reflect on. It highlights how complex our motivations can be, even when we want to do the right thing. Thanks so much for walking us through this research.
My pleasure. It's fascinating stuff.
It really is. It's a great reminder that understanding these sort of subtle psychological forces can really shed light on why we make the decisions we do, especially when it comes to helping others. We hope you found this deep dive interesting and maybe gained a new perspective on choice, fairness, and giving.